Hello, guys. My name is Sienna, and I'm here to tell you a small story of my own. Geez, some of the stories I saw here about crazy mother-in-laws are just nerve-wracking. It reminded me of my own time dealing with my entitled mother-in-law, Cindy, who thought that the world revolved around her. Now, let me tell you the story. My husband, Drago, is Cindy's only child. His father died when he was young, and Cindy had to step up to care for him. She never let him forget that. Cindy was a veiled narcissist who thrived on making herself feel powerful and important. She raised Drago to give in to all her demands and not have the right to question her decisions. She was, in general, a very entitled lady who demanded that people do as she says, or else there would be consequences. Naturally, no one wanted her in their life and cut her off. That made things worse for Drago, who was now Cindy's main victim. Cindy met her match when Drago and I got married. When I was dating him, Drago was always reluctant to introduce me to his mother. When I finally met her a few days after my engagement, I knew that she was the problem and not me. Since Drago had moved in with me into my house, Cindy was slowly starting to lose control over her son. Her son no longer wanted to give in to her demands easily or fund her horrible lifestyle. She, of course, blamed me for changing him. Now, I ignored her nasty talk for a while because she didn't live with us. But one day she suddenly showed up to my house with her suitcases in tow and said, "Sorry for not informing you earlier, but I will be staying with you here for a while." What? Why, Mom? What happened to your apartment? Well, I got evicted because you don't bother to send me money anymore. I guess this is what you wanted, to see your poor mother homeless. Sienna changed you a lot, you know. Mom, you were spending money on dumb shit and always kept asking for more. That's not a way to live your life. Don't teach me how to live my life. I raised you and not the other way around. I ran into some financial trouble and got evicted because of you. So you are obligated to house me until I get back on my feet. I will tolerate your stupid wife, but you need to get rid of the nasty dog. I stood open-mouthed while she rambled on her ridiculous demands. Oh, and the dog she was talking about is my now 7-year-old golden retriever named Leo. I was stunned by what she said and barely registered when she told Drago that we needed to get rid of my dog for her. The dog I had for 7 years. Leo was my family, not some plushie I could just throw away. I was ready to shout at Cindy when Drago took me aside and said, "I know what you're mad about, but let's not turn this into a fight. Look, it's true that I haven't been sending her money whenever she wants. I feel a little guilty to know that she lost the house because of me. Can we let her stay at the house for a few months, please?" What? Drago, you know what a toxic and manipulative witch your mother is. None of her financial problems is your fault. You don't need to feel guilty. The audacity of the woman is astounding. She even wanted to get rid of Leo. Do you expect me to get rid of Leo? Sienna, please, you know that I will never let that happen. Leo is my family too. I will not throw him out because of my mom. I can't just throw my mom out like that either. Please, Sienna, just a few days. I swear I will find a way to get her out. Drago's desperation and guilt made me feel bad for him. It was his mom, after all, and Drago wasn't exactly fully capable of standing up to her just yet. He begged me hard to let Cindy stay, and I reluctantly agreed. Drago went and told Cindy the good news, but also sternly told him that Leo was not going anywhere. Cindy tried to make a scene, but both I and Drago put our foot down. She huffed and puffed, but accepted. All is well for a few months, right? Wrong. Cindy had no intention of ever recovering financially. She refused to look for jobs, leached off of us, littered the house, never cleaned her mess, and didn't pay a single penny towards anything. Instead, she regularly asked for money to do God knows what. She lived like she owned my place and constantly called it her house. Her attitude towards Leo was also remarkably bad. We had plenty of screaming matches about that. I was at my wit's end with her. Drago didn't know what to do either. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, I had a bad fall, broke my arm, and had a mild concussion. Any guesses as to what happened? Well, Cindy freaking left the hairdryer on the floor of my damn bathroom. Drago was away on an important business meeting and couldn't come back home, so I had my best friend drive me to the hospital since Cindy refused. Something about staying at the house taking care of it. I was too much in a daze to argue. I got to the hospital and was kept there for a whole night, due to the concussion. They did x-rays and stuff, which also took a long time. I had to stay at the hospital with my best friend while my mother-in-law did God knows what in the house. I had a bad feeling about leaving her alone with Leo since she hated him so much, but I wasn't in the condition to do anything till I got discharged. I took an Uber home the next day and hurried to make sure Leo was fed and taken care of. As soon as I walked in, I called out to Leo. I was met with silence, and a minute later I saw Cindy. I said, "Cindy, where is Leo? I called, but he didn't answer me. Did you look after him and feed him last night?" "Oh, that filthy animal. I got rid of it." "You what?" It was like I was struck with a thunderbolt. My insides were screaming, and I could hear my heart pounding wildly against my rib cage. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Cindy freaking got rid of my dog? What the hell? Cindy ignored my shocked face and kept talking. "Animals can't stay in this house. They don't pay rent. They don't clean up after themselves, and they are useless. They belong on the streets or in a shelter. My home will not have one of those wild and disgusting things around." I was reeling with anger when Cindy spoke like that. I was way too stressed about my poor dog to waste my energy shouting at her, so I calmly looked straight into her eyes and said, "You are right, Cindy. Pets can really be a burden when they don't look after the house or pay rent. It's important for us to recognize when this happens and kick them to the curb immediately." There, finally my wise words have gone through your thick brain. God, I thought you would never understand. You should always listen to the woman in charge of the house. I know what's best for my house and family. Your words are truly wise, Cindy. Thank you for opening my eyes today. I guess it gave me a new perspective. It will be very helpful for me in the future. Cindy looked pleased with herself for getting rid of a dirty animal from her home. She thought that all was well. Now, she would finally settle into my house that she has already started to call hers. Like I said, she always considers herself to be the matriarch and head of the house, no matter whose house she was staying at. I had been putting off confronting her for as long as I could, but this was the last straw. No one messed with me and my family, which included my dog Leo. I was fuming inside and worrying about Leo at the same time, but I kept my face neutral and tried to control my anger. Karma would come for Cindy soon enough, and I would be the one to deliver it. I quickly distracted Cindy and got out of the house. From what I could tell, Cindy had used my car to drop off Leo at whatever shelter she could find. So I logged on to my car's GPS system to find out where she had gone. I didn't want to ask Cindy directly because she clearly wasn't going to give up the location. She knew that I would try to get it out of her. Plus, asking her would give her warnings that I might bring Leo back. I wanted to keep her in the dark. I left the house on the excuse of getting medicines and called on Uber to the animal shelter where my car's GPS showed me Cindy had gone. I got my beloved Leo back. I explained the situation to the staff there and gave all the details. Leo was microchipped, so they knew I was the real owner. Thankfully, they understood my situation and let me take Leo after signing some papers. Guys, my poor dog was traumatized. He was sitting in the corner of the room, refusing to look at anyone. As soon as he heard me, he leapt from the corner straight into my arms. I won't lie, but I did cry tears of joy and relief when I held him. At the same time, my rage at Cindy was threatening to overcome my senses. I loaded Leo in my car and went straight home. When I stepped into the house, Cindy took one look at Leo and shrieked. It was a nasty shriek that made Leo bark at her. As you can tell, he wasn't a fan of Cindy anymore. Cindy said,
"What the hell, Sienna? What on earth is that filthy animal doing in my house? I didn't get rid of him to have you bring it back."
"First of all, Cindy, Leo is mine. You had no right to give him away just like that. What happens to Leo is my decision and mine only. So I did what I wanted and brought my dog back."
"Absolutely not, Sienna. I always told you that I won't allow a filthy animal to live in my house. They are nasty and don't pay bills. And—"
Yeah, I heard all that before, Cindy. You told me those things so many times that I know it by heart now.
"Well then, get rid of the dog. I can't stand looking at him. He's already messing up the carpet with his nasty dog hair. I don't want dog filth in my house. You better drop him off wherever and start cleaning my house."
At this point, my anger was somewhat reduced. I knew that I wouldn't have to put up with Cindy for any time longer. I had everything set and all the plans made. I was firm in my decision. I calmly looked at Cindy with a small smile and said, "First of all, Cindy, this is my house, not yours. And secondly, you were right. Animals who don't pay bills or clean after themselves don't deserve to be in my house. Now, let's see which animal doesn't pay bills, thinks the house is hers, and doesn't bother cleaning her mess."
"Oh my God, it's you, Cindy." "What? How dare you, Sienna? Are you calling me an animal?"
"We are all some kind of animal, Cindy, and you fit the criteria perfectly. So I have decided I will take your advice and kick out the nasty animal I have in the house. Spoiler alert, it's not Leo, it's you." Cindy looked at me like I had slapped her or something. There was this tinge of fear and nervousness in her eyes that I hadn't seen before. It gave me a lot of satisfaction to see her afraid. She was used to getting her way with everyone. But in recent years, both her sons were trying to let go of the control she had over them. Cindy had realized that and was trying to reinstate her position as the matriarch. That was part of the reason why she was so insistent on moving into my house. Well, thankfully, I was there to set the record straight. I had no qualms about putting Cindy back in her place. Cindy, unfortunately, had trouble understanding my simple words. She started to tremble and said,
"What are you saying? You can't just kick me out. This is my son's house."
"Well, no, Cindy, this is the house that I got from my dead grandfather as my inheritance. The same grandfather who also happened to have got me Leo back when I was a teenager. Every little detail just makes it easier for me to kick you out on a clear conscience."
"I don't care how you got this house. Since you were married to my son, it belongs to him too. And since he is my son, I have a right to be here. You cannot kick me out to house that filthy animal."
"Well, I can, and I am kicking you out. You have no right to be here. We housed you because of your poor financial decisions. You were supposed to help me recover, not give me extra stress by throwing my dog out. Now I see that you are taking liberties in doing what you want. You want to feel like a freaking matriarch and control other people? Well, that won't happen in my house. So take your stuff and get the hell out."
"How dare you speak to me like that? Just you wait, you little witch. I will call my son and set you straight."
"Sure, Cindy, call him and tell him. Let's see what your son has to say about this." Cindy huffed and called Drago to plead her case. Well, not plead, because she was still confident that she could demand whatever she wanted, and we would give in immediately. She was sure that her son would take her side and teach me a nice lesson. So she called Drago, all the while eyeing me and Leo with pure distaste. When Drago picked up the call, this is what happened. "Hello, Mom. What's up? Is everything okay in the house?"
"No, everything's not okay in the house. Your crazy wife is threatening to throw me out of the house like an animal. I don't know what I did to deserve this horrible treatment. I'm extremely upset, Drago."
"What the hell? What happened? What is going on?" "What Cindy said is true. I am kicking her out of the house. I made the decision a few minutes ago, and I am firm on it."
See, Drago? You need to teach your wife some manners. She forgets who is the matriarch of this house. She is disrespecting me and being an absolute nightmare. Never in my life have I ever been treated this bad. Cindy went on and on about her miserable condition in my house while painting herself to be the victim. She never once mentioned that she tried to rehome my dog behind my back and justified it with her twisted sense. I waited patiently for Cindy to stop her theatrics. Drago was doing the same thing. When Cindy showed no signs of slowing down, Drago interrupted her. Okay, calm down, Mom. Let Sienna say her part. Sienna, tell me what's going on. Why did you suddenly want to kick out Mom? You just got back from the hospital. What went wrong? Cindy should have mentioned it, since she thinks she did nothing wrong. Since she didn't let me tell you what your mom did while I was in the hospital. She took Leo and dropped him off at an animal shelter. What? Why? She said something about filthy animals who don't pay bills or look after themselves. She drove 25 miles to drop off Leo in a shelter. Thankfully, I got him back today, since I had proof of ownership and all. There was a very deep silence on Drago's end after I told him what Cindy had done. I knew that he was shocked and super mad. I had a feeling that Cindy could sense it too, because she looked hella nervous. After a few seconds of silence, Drago said with suppressed rage, Mom, for the love of God, please tell me you didn't do that. Well, I just thought... Mom, did you try to rehome Leo? What the hell is wrong with you? What's your tone, Drago? I'm your mother. You don't speak to me like that. You know how I hate animals living under my roof. You have known this all your life. That dog needed to go. I gave some really valid reasons why. I don't understand why you're mad. Are you serious right now? You are living under Sienna's roof and not the other way around. How dare you try to get rid of Leo while my poor wife was recovering from an injury caused by your carelessness? Drago was raging mad now. Even though I had Leo first, he lived with Leo like his own pet. Leo wasn't just a pet. He was family, and you don't mess with Leo and get away with it. Cindy had never seen or heard Drago react to anyone like that. She actually flinched at his tone and looked shocked. Soon it became evident to her that her son wasn't going to take her side. She tried to placate him by softly crying and saying, Drago, why are you talking to me like that? You're scaring me. You can't be like this with your mom over a stupid dog. Leo is not a stupid dog, Mom. He is my family as well. We made it crystal clear to you when you whined about moving in with us. Sienna let you stay rent-free in her house, only to have you backstab her and me. How did you think it was okay? Drago, you're not thinking straight. It's just a dog. That filthy little thing. Stop. Stop right now. You are freaking delusional if you think you can justify your actions in any way. Instead of asking for forgiveness from Sienna, you thought that calling me and making me scold her would be correct? Are you insane? Cindy was now crying while clutching her phone. She slowly sunk into my new plush sofa and tried to make Drago listen to her stupid reasons. Leo was still behind my legs, trying to stay as far away from Cindy as possible. God knows what that awful woman has done to my sweet boy. My heart ached for him, and I longed to make him feel safe again. While Drago shouted and Cindy cried on the phone, I decided to step in and end the drama ASAP. I said, Drago, your mom is refusing to leave even after I told her multiple times. Leo is super traumatized and is hiding behind my legs. I can't bear to see him pull this anymore. Oh, God, Mom, what did you do to my poor dog? You know what? It doesn't matter anymore. I heard enough already, Mom. You need to leave. You are not welcome in the house anymore. Sienna already told you that, and I am telling you that I don't want to be in contact with you anymore. I am done with your power play. You have hurt me enough. I won't let you hurt my wife and my new family too. Oh my God, Drago, what are you saying? You can't let a filthy animal and this witch of a wife come between us. You are my son. I'm your mother. I only did this because I want the best for you.
Stop that nonsense right now, Mom. You did what you thought was best for you. Like always, you cared nothing about other people. You don't care about your own son and daughter-in-law. I put up with you for years because you're my mother, but not anymore. Not when you're trying to control and hurt my family. Leave the house right now before I call the police on you myself. Drago said that and hung up on her. I told her to pack her shit while I carried Leo inside my master bedroom. My best friend had also arrived because I had notified her of the situation on my way to pick up Leo. She would stay at the house with me to take care of me and make sure Cindy got the hell away from all of us. She comes into the house and keeps an eye on Cindy while she packs her stuff. Cindy would have protected or thrown a tantrum if Drago hadn't been so angry. Plus, the fact that my best friend's husband was a cop also made Cindy hurry up and leave before the cops seriously threw her out. She was crying the entire time, and I could hear her from my room. I comforted Leo and waited for my best friend to give me the signal when my horrible mother-in-law was gone. After Cindy left, I got a rather pained call from Drago. I could tell that he was distressed and that he was blaming himself for what happened. He said, "I'm so sorry, Sienna. This should never have happened. I should have just listened to you and kept my mom at arm's bay. If I had, you wouldn't have been hurt and Leo wouldn't have been traumatized." Drago, don't be so hard on yourself. I knew you had good intentions when you wanted to help out your mom. It's not your fault she refuses to change. But I don't think it will be wise to have her around after this. I for sure wouldn't be comfortable. You don't have to worry about that, Sienna. I'm done with Mom and cut contact with her for good. I will fly back as soon as possible to be with you, and I will get therapy to make sure I have the spine to tell her off when she comes demanding something from us. This will never happen again. You take care of yourself and Leo. Hearing this made my heart swell a little. I was glad that Drago was finally willing to get therapy to deal with his issues with Cindy. I really didn't want to have any connection to her anymore, and it was Drago's job to set those boundaries. I assured Drago that my best friend would stay with me until he got back. He was somewhat relieved and flew back 2 days later. He was super guilty and kept apologizing over and over again. It broke my heart to see my family suffering because of that awful woman, Cindy. Karma was still pending for Cindy, of course. As I said, she was broke and didn't have a place to stay. She thought that we would calm down and beg her to come back to live with her. She is a true narcissist, although she is too full of herself to ever seek a diagnosis. Anyway, as a week passed, her cash ran out, and it became apparent to her that we weren't going to come get her. That's when she returned to our door, begging and pleading for forgiveness. That was fast, but only because she didn't have any money. No family in their right mind would take Cindy in because everyone knew that level of her entitlement. So she had to come back to us. We refused to even open the door and threatened to call the cops if she stayed for long. She was already blocked from all our phones and social media. The extended family was informed of everything, and everyone took our side because they were not crazy like Cindy. Me, Drago, and Leo slowly went back to being the happy family we were before Cindy disrupted everything. As for her, last I heard, Cindy was working somewhere in a small office, earning peanuts and living in a trailer. I will say it suits her, and hope she rots there and never comes back.